leftists to be on board with. That's Frogan, okay? Frogan supports terrorists. That's what she does. She's a terrorist supporter, okay? Not for the first time. Ethan doesn't like what she's saying, so he unfollows her on Twitter. And then Frogan crashed out for 17 months. That's basically that. That's that drama. That's how that drama went between those two people. Where are they? Damn. Okay. Drama. It's really showing you the anti-Ethan industrial complex is still booming. What a fucking state, man. What a state of a movement. Like, how can you be so... So these guys had one of the most popular social protest movements of this entire century. They achieved nothing. The situation now is so dire, you know. Hamas have returned to copium red triangle videos because they injured or killed like 1 or 2 soldiers. The entire population of Gaza, or like a large part of it, is probably going to turn on Hamas faster than Western activists will. The Houthis are getting the shit bombed out of them by the United States. Hezbollah are fucked. There's an anti-Hezbollah president in Lebanon. Assad's gone. Iran's passage towards Palestine through Syria and through Lebanon through the Axis is completely wrecked. They are now bricking it about the concept of their nuclear facilities getting hit by America or Israel. Trump is president, and he's given a free pass to Netanyahu's government to do whatever they want. And I guess these guys have just decided to try and grab a consolation prize from the jaws of the most pathetic fucking defeat. And that consolation prize, their wooden spoon, is making a quick buck sitting on someone who opposes the war in Gaza. That's on a... Well, we couldn't defeat this enemy, you know, Israel. Turns out it's actually quite difficult to abolish a country, particularly when that country is the only home for most of the people who live there. Turns out that's too difficult. That's quite hard. Kind of a lost cause trying to do that. Next stage, okay, let's attack a social democrat. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's attack a social democrat who supports a Palestinian state. Let's support a few of them. Yeah. Because they occasionally say a couple of nice things about Israel. Let's do that. And this is where it is now. Frogan's response. First video that she's ever done on her channel. 40,000 views in one day. Not bad, not bad.
Hi, my name is Frogan, and this is the first time I'm ever making...
It's a little quiet.
Solo YouTube video about everything that has happened the last year and a half. I address everything on my podcast, Arabs, which you can find the link below, but today it's just going to be you and I. I think the content cop was great. You know, I feel like Ian approached it in a way that nobody else does. He approached it with empathy, and, you know, it was supposed to make people feel bad for Ethan.
How fucking dumb do you have to be? It's so stupid. Omitted like all of the more serious kind of complaints that Ethan had. Basically just like trashed him the entire video. Very one-sided. Not really seeing anything. By the way, just so we know how this, for reference, just so we know how the Frogan-Ethan drama started. Frogan puts out a tweet around October 7th saying something like, leftists, they always want a revolution, but when one happens in the Middle East, when a real one happens, they have a problem with it, right? As if to suggest that October 7th was a revolution that you would expect leftists to be on board with. That's Frogan, okay? Frogan supports terrorists. That's what she does. She's a terrorist supporter, okay? Not for the first time. Ethan doesn't like what she's saying, so he unfollows her on Twitter. And then Frogan crashed out for 17 months. That's basically that. That's that drama. That's how that drama went between those two people. It was over an unfollow. Okay.
One of the main things, especially as content creators, people tend to dehumanize us and forget that we're living normal people just like you. So obviously, with so much pressure on the internet, both on myself and I'm sure Ethan can relate to this too, it's fucking hell. It's hard to manage. It's hard to deal with. So I feel like Ian approached it in a way that was more so holding a friend accountable and in a softer way and wanted to generate empathy for Ethan. Other people don't do that. And I've even said this before. I feel like we need to stick to the basics as to why Ethan Klein deserves to be criticized, and that is for being pro-Israel and trying to deplatform pro-Palestinian content creators.
Wow.
I think it's insane to involve his children,
pro-access creators, but okay.
and anybody else that really doesn't deserve the criticism. I think Kayla deserves the criticism as well too, because she says some batshit crazy things on the podcast as well. And I've said this, and I'll say it again. If you're spewing pro-Israel propaganda, I'm going to call you out about it. I received a text asking to say something nice about Ethan, and to be honest, I thought about it long and hard because I was like, this man.
To her credit, yeah, I don't think Frogan has ever gone after. Not that I know of. I don't think Frogan has ever actually gone after the personal life, family stuff. I will say this whole like, excuse me, listen, if you want to propagandize on behalf of the state of Israel, the apartheid state, I'm going to put you in your place. Frogan knows nothing about the conflict. She is the ultimate testament to the fact that just because you have an Arab or a Muslim family and you were raised in the West, maybe even born in the West, I think, there is no guarantee you will know anything about the conflict. Like nothing more than someone else could learn in like a couple of hours. Where's the video of her not knowing what a druze is?
Just one.
This is
Just one day
Frogan.
after the October.
Now look out, she will call you out, okay? If she catches you being problematic about the Middle East, okay? She'll call you out, okay?
Just one day after the October 7th massacre a year ago, Hezbollah joined the war against Israel. It launched an unprovoked attack on our cities, killing civilians without distinctions. Jews, Christians, Muslims, and Druze.
Okay, so they said that they're
What the
killing.
fuck's the Druze? Again, Druze, fairly important part of Lebanon, fairly important ethnic group in Lebanon. Quite a lot of history there. You know, they've got a lot of history back and forth with the Maronites, a lot of history with relation to the Muslim communities in Lebanon. Yeah, that's very okay. So Lebanese person, but yeah, okay.
Time
Druze. There was the village in the Golan Heights. The Hezbollah rocket came down and hit kids playing soccer, but everyone says Israel shot the rocket down and it hit the kids.
What everyone says, being everyone on his social media feed, the Majd al-Shams rocket was a Hezbollah rocket. Hezbollah admitted that they were firing rockets in that area. They announced it on their social media and then very quickly deleted it when they found out that one of those rockets hit a bunch of kids playing football. It was way too close for it to the border for it to have been taken out by an IDF, an Iron Dome interceptor. But
playing soccer. That was in the Golan Heights. Muslims, it killed one person in Palestine. It hasn't killed any Christian Palestinians that I'm aware of or any Christian Israelis. And it hasn't, I don't think, and I think it killed Jews. I think it killed IDF soldiers. So I think Hezbollah has not killed anyone else.
Israel has decided to put an end to this. We've decided to do whatever is necessary to return our people safely to their homes.
By killing people.
Israel has a right to defend.
Listen to this part.
Israel also has a right to win, and Israel will win.
Israel has a right to win is fucking insane. That's insane. To win what?
Return to where to Lebanon?
So this is almost a year into the war now when Israel's escalating against Lebanon, against Hezbollah. And Netanyahu talks about people wanting to return home, and Frogan thinks they're talking about returning to Lebanon. She doesn't know that they're talking about communities in northern Israel. So, again, that's what the fuck has occurred, Saddam Hussein. And then one more. There's so much compressed into this 1 minute and 23 seconds.
On.
No, what they're saying is they're trying. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to get rid of. He's bullshitting the people. Okay, he's got over 100,000 people in northern Israel that will not go back to their settlements in northern Israel.
Good, bye. Go back to fucking Brooklyn, bitch. Like, you have your fucking house there.
Thinks people from northern Israel are from Brooklyn. What? Yeah. Just she shouldn't be. She shouldn't be making content. She shouldn't be saying anything about anything. She doesn't know anything about anything. She doesn't know anything. Like northern Israel is first of all, it's mixed. Okay, so a lot of people there are Palestinian and Druze. Even there's like maybe 10,000 Maronites who live in northern Israel. The Israeli Jews who live in the north will be mostly a combination of Ashkenazi and Mizrahi. They'll either be from the Middle East and North Africa, or they will have come from Europe. A very small number of them would be from Brooklyn and have houses there. Most of them only have citizenship in Israel. Anyway, again, I don't really care that much for attacking Frogan herself all that much, though. It's just that Frogan is too stupid to take seriously. She's too stupid to get angry at. Like, she's just a very dumb person. I think the problem is that the amount of people who defend her or like try to prop her up or try to act as if this behavior and these like opinions are acceptable. Like, that's the worst thing about it. The worst thing is that this side of the internet just thinks this is like someone that they encourage her almost. You shouldn't be encouraging this shit. You should be telling her to take some fucking time off. Like, that's what she needs. She needs some time off, some quiet reading and self-reflection. But okay.
Does not deserve anything nice from me. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Maybe it'll give me some closure. So I wrote a letter to Ethan and I read it off, and iDubbbz put it in the video, and this was Ethan's reaction to the video.
I bet you would.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports for good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
Listen,
Thank you.
Frogan, she's so dumb that you almost can't be even mad at her.
She
Like,
did
Oh.
wish us the best in the end.
Okay, I thought I was the only person who said that.
It almost
No.
felt like the nicest one of them all.
I think she was the only one being genuine,
Damn.
Yeah.
actually.
Pre-watch.
So I don't want to, whatever, just Frogan, just chill, okay? Just stop being an idiot and I'll stop talking about you. It's really simple math.
She's also by far the smallest creator of the bunch.
Right.
I mean, is it even like cool that he included her? Like, she's just gonna get more shit for being
It's
involved.
not. It's not cool.
And, like,
on his
it's
behalf.
not- it's
he
total-
knows what like this entails.
This part made me laugh because it was very tone deaf, and he's acting like half of his content nuke wasn't about me. Half of the content nuke, the entire ending half, was about me. So if I'm so irrelevant and so uncool to include, why the fuck was
Half of the content nuke was about you? I remember him bringing up a clip of Frogan saying that Sabra hummus is colonizer hummus, which is again also very ignorant because if you're confused about why Jews in Israel eat hummus, then yeah, that's also profound ignorance of the region. Half. Yeah.
I in your goddamn video?
Like, Hassan can handle it, but like Frogan's now just gonna get a pile of shit on top of her that I have no control over because people are watching. Millions of people are watching his video, by the way, and they're reacting to it, and they're not having good reactions.
Not
to
just our audience.
it. Far from our own. Yeah.
I think it's funny that you think me being in the iDubbbz video is what's going to cause this harassment. When in reality, it's you, Ethan. You're acting like you haven't spent the last year and a half doing everything in your power to push people to bully and harass me, including
Remember,
weaponizing.
this started over a quiet unfollow. He unfollowed her on Twitter, and then she publicly crashed out for 17 months. That's how that worked. That's, again, the cry bully. She's such a fucking liar, man. God. I wonder if people get to a point where they're just so absorbed in the attacks that they get themselves that they just kind of forget like why it was their choices that resulted in that. Shit.
Propaganda organizations such as the ADL to get me banned off Twitch because I made a joke about you not being able
ADL,
to say
yeah.
Habibi. But no, it's iDubbbz. One of the
So she
only
still doesn't understand the problem with the Sabra thing, but okay.
not being able to say Habibi. But no, it's iDubbbz. One of the only major creators besides his son who has actually defended me publicly in the last few months. This next section is about the double standards of Ethan's thinking. Let's get started with this clip.
Personally, though, and I've seen Hassan do this before, is he's accused me of it. He goes, "Oh, you just hate Muslims." It's like, bro, can you actually please just respond to a real argument? Like, please, bro. You know, he just like, you can't just sweep everything away by saying that. It's just not right. Are people very cruel to her? Yeah, for sure. You know, it's just, I don't know, man.
I don't know how to explain this to you, Ethan, because this is something you claim all the time. But some people are actually racist. Ethan claims people are mean to him all the time.
Yeah, I know. Like people who think Northern Israelis should all have houses in Brooklyn, or that Sabra hummus is an Israeli attempt to erase Arab culture, as if the real reason Israeli Jews eat hummus is because most Israeli Jews are from the Middle East. That's why they eat Middle Eastern food, because they come from there. They've been there for thousands of years. Fuck. Some people are racist.
Because they're racist, using his religion as a shield to criticism, as he claims people are doing to me. A lot of the comments I get are about me being Abby and me. People are not more charitable.
Whoa. The volume.
Because I wear the hijab, and I wish that was the case.
I have never, they accuse me of doing it. They go, oh, Ethan's just targeting Arab and Muslim creators. It's like, I have never one time mentioned her hijabi or brought anyone's fucking identity into my criticism of them.
You haven't said anything about me being Muslim directly, but your ideas about Muslims are pretty obvious from what you say. Here are a few of many examples.
Let's
Just
go.
make it easier. Why don't you just fly to ISIS and do them a favor and just let them, you know, just serve yourself on a platter for them because you deserve it.
How? Is that supposed to be an Islamophobic comment? What's he talking about there? What? Fly yourself over to ISIS and do them a favor. What's the context? Is that because, well, we have a context puke, okay. My first thought on that particular statement would probably be when it was Americans saying that if there was an indigenous Native American uprising against them, they would accept it because they live on stolen land. And then people were making those jokes about how you should go and give yourself up to ISIS then, like to apologize for Iraq or some shit. Like, I thought that was the meme there. He was talking about a gay guy supporting Hamas. Okay, so again, this is about fundamentalist organizations. Even if that's the case, then that's about, yeah, we're talking about fundamentalist organizations. How is that Islamophobic? How? I love it how it's not anti-Semitic to talk about the ADL, the JDL, the fucking like APAC, like all things Zionist or all things Israeli or all things like even American that have sympathies towards Israel, or the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. It's none of that's anti-Semitic, okay? But apparently going after someone who supports Hamas as a gay person, that's a problem. Okay.
Yourself on a platter for them because you deserve it. I think per capita, a lot of the weird fucking terrorism and shit, I mean, there's definitely some strong thread of violence that Muslim community or Arab Muslim
The next thing I want to bring up are the
What country is he talking about? A particular country there? Again, in some countries that's true, but again, that's not racist in and of itself. It's only racist depending on what you think that means. Like the statistic itself or the ratios and all that, they're not racist themselves. What's racist is if you wonder why it's the case. So when people spoke about like high murder rates in the black community in America, for example, the fact that the higher murder rate exists is not racist. Okay, what's racist is if someone thinks that it's the case only because of like that black people just happen to make worse choices than white people for no reason, right? Like that would be racist. Or to say it's genetic would be racist. Just mentioning the existence of the trend is not racist. Also, she had to go back pretty far for that clip. You can tell, by the way. Huh. Interesting.
double standards both Ethan and Hila have for themselves. Let's get started with this.
We misspoke. It didn't sound good. We immediately corrected ourselves. You know, that's how mature people do. That's how how you're supposed to handle yourself, isn't it? Like, what more do you want me to do?
I have no problem apologizing and admitting and whatever is needed when things happen.
This was in response to people bringing up how Hila said Yoav Gallant was a great guy, even though he's literally a war criminal and pro-genocide.
Wow.
I'm a live streamer as well. I know being live for hours and hours on end.
They're not going to say why. She said good guy, and they're not going to say why, though. They're not going to say the reference. They're not going to say that, again, because not everyone's keeping up with every single thing in the conflict. They're not going to say that the reason they had for saying that about Gallant was because Gallant wanted to increase humanitarian aid, and he fell out with Bibi Netanyahu over whether or not the war should be more focused on the hostages rather than the total victory, that he wanted to rein back on the fighting. Actually, as we're just about revealing now, I don't know if you guys know this, but a couple of days ago, if you remember the Philadelphia corridor, the border corridor between Egypt and Gaza, Netanyahu a while ago was showing these pictures of this massive tunnel, saying like, look at the size of this tunnel. This was used to export all kinds of arms from Egypt into Gaza by Hamas. It turned out that tunnel was actually an irrigation facility. It wasn't for importing arms. And Gallant, a few months ago, actually said that the Philadelphia corridor is not as much of a security requirement as Netanyahu is making it out to be. It can be given up for a ceasefire. That's why people were saying nice things about Gallant, not because of his war crimes or because of his statements on October 8th. But Rogan's not going to know that. She's not going to say that because these people don't care.
You can misspeak, and that is exactly what happened whenever I said the thing about the U.S. military. I said it in a way in which I didn't mean, and I also clarified it on Twitter by saying the U.S. military has conducted some of the most horrific crimes against humanity in the modern era in countries such as Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. My anger is directed.
The difference is that your explanation is retarded, Frogan. Like it's, I'm sorry, but again, quite a few of these countries are countries where the U.S. hasn't committed war crimes in, though. Iraq, yes. Afghanistan, yes. America had a military presence in Syria. They fought with ISIS in Syria, and they helped anti-Assad rebels in Syria. Lebanon, what war crimes was America committing in Lebanon? They were stationed there during the Civil War in 1982 because they were there as an international peacekeeping force with France, Italy, and they were there to oversee the PLO's evacuation. But I don't know what war crimes they committed in Lebanon. And I guess we're just throwing in countries, but she probably considers Israeli war crimes in Lebanon to be American. Same with Palestine. What does the U.S. military do in Palestine? Oh, they're Israel. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting it says Palestine because in the peace process, one of the requests from the PLO was that the military presence that Israel wanted to keep at certain points in the West Bank after a two-state solution was the request made by the PLO on that was that they accepted it, but they wanted it to be American soldiers. The Palestinian negotiators were like, yeah, you can have a security presence in the West Bank, but not Israelis. It can be Americans, though. So they were okay with that. Interesting, considering that the US military has committed so many war crimes. American occupied Sumeria, true.
Individuals who are currently championing these war crimes as if they liberated my people. It's horrific and disgusting. The beginning of the clip was worded poorly, and I do apologize for that. I go on to clarify in the clip that I do not mean all military, but specifically those with no remorse. What I said was out of frustration as they are currently bombing my family in the name of liberation. I realize that wishing people harm is
Like American soldiers, she thinks American and Israeli soldiers are intertwined. I guess that's the problem. Because you can't say this is because it's American arms. Because why would the soldiers be getting PTSD for selling arms to Israel? She thinks America is bombing Lebanon. Okay.
The best way to talk about these issues, and that I could have talked about these topics in a more sensitive way. And like I said initially, I'm not granted that charitability at all.
It's just, I want to explain it because people bring it up nonstop.
Yeah, because it's a really dumb explanation.
I apologize for it right away. When Ethan made a video to address this on his Ethan Klein channel,
Next day.
You can absolutely get PTSD from a retail job. Yeah. Because it's actually, that's American soldiers are doing that. They're the ones doing the arms deals with Israel.
Made a quick appearance in that video just to say, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I shouldn't have called him a really good guy. Like, I don't know why I said it like that.
What more do you want from me? I did the same exact thing.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. Excuse me. Hang on. Let's find Frogan doing the exact same thing. Okay. r/Dustin. Why not? Oh, no, it's not deleted, is it? Fuck. Come on. Oh, yeah, it's not. Okay. Right. Oh, this is okay. So this is her saying it, I believe, and this is her doubling down. Like we know what you did. You doubled down. You doubled down so hard in it that it's a meme. We forget. I didn't forget. You guys know where this sound comes from, right?
Base?
That's where this comes from. It comes from her doubling down on the PTSD take. Oh my god. Volume. I did the same thing.
Any other motherfucker you're joining them, you're like, oh my god, I want my arrow, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance to get back into it. And they posted it in my head. I'm like, base? Base? Like, am I supposed to be like, I'm not walking back on it. I still fucking agree with it. Base?
I did this. Can you imagine if Ela saw a clip of her calling Yoav Gallant a good guy and being like, based? Like, oh my god. You would never hear the end of it. It would be on every soundboard of every Hassan Dick Rider streamer. Fuck.
Now we're moving on to the infamous button. So during the react to the content cop, AB started talking and the button was pushed. Here's the clip.
Authorities block healthcare to Gaza. Again, I'm not. Do you think that I'm talking about walking around Gaza when I say how great multicultural it is?
We
did
never
you think
defended
that?
how Israel attacked Gaza since October 7th, not even once. We never
I think that's
co-signed what they did.
Is that not the point he's making though?
What?
That you're talking about how nice Israel is, but
Israel proper is different from Gaza.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Millions
right now, say
Muslims in Israel.
I guess that's where the
Yeah, but this objection is dumb because you would never say this about any other. You wouldn't really say this about another country. Like if you were talking about, like, say for example, Lebanon. Like someone said, I want to go to Lebanon and show you how beautiful it is, and it's like how Christians and Muslims like live together in these areas. Well, yeah, you're not. That doesn't mean you're endorsing Hezbollah's actions in Syria, even though they are a part of the Lebanese government.
And that's the end of the clip because the button was pushed. Anytime any member of the crew gives Ethan any type of pushback, the button is pushed. And he wants to say that.
Bro, Ethan has pushback like from Dan and AB like all the time. Fuck me. What happened after the button? Oh no, we don't care, do we? It just looks like he was it looks like he was getting challenged, beat down, pressed. They had to stop. Yeah, Dan pushes back on like every other thing that Ethan says. Can you imagine if Hassan had someone like that on his stream? Hassan won't even watch people he promotes when they criticize him. He still won't watch Bad and Panada criticizing him. He won't do it. He can't do it. Fuck. All right.
I'm surrounded by yes men and people can never criticize me, when he doesn't allow his staff that are part of the show to give him any critique or pushback whatsoever.
Wow.
During the live show today, some of the crew defended me, and I appreciate it so much. And during this episode, AB mentioned that the most recent time we talked, him and I had a disagreement.
People are saying stop being friends with her. You guys don't know fucking shit. I have not talked to her in forever, and the last time we did talk, we had a disagreement. Like where is this coming from? Like I don't understand.
This disagreement was a DM I sent him, which stated, "Hey AB, I wanted to reach out privately because responding publicly and adding to the dog pile doesn't feel right. I understand that people often overlook how tough the job market is, and I get that working for Ethan puts you in a complicated position. That said, I think what pushed people over the edge was a clip of you baiting pro-Palestinian people and blocking them. The criticism you're receiving is largely because people believe you're better than that and don't subscribe to Ethan's views. I know you've been vocal about Palestine, but I think it's important to explicitly clarify that you don't share his beliefs and that you stand on your own. Ethan is not worth the bullshit you have to deal with working for him. Honestly, there have been times where I felt anger towards you, but after some reflection, I wanted to approach you directly. I'm saying this as someone who was personally impacted by Ethan and as a cousin. I hope you understand where I'm coming from."
Cousin.
AB didn't respond, and that's perfectly fine. I didn't expect him to. You know,
I don't think a message like that is that bad. It's probably obviously the whole like telling someone that they shouldn't work for someone or whatever is kind of stupid, but yeah. Like this is what you do if you actually mean what you're saying, as opposed to her like publicly saying shit like this, like someone like Mike from PA would do. Yeah, whatever.
I hope you understand where I'm coming from. AB
So
didn't
if I got a message like that from someone who is like trying to like police my fucking content decisions or whatever, I probably would just ignore them though. I'd be like, yeah, fuck. Or I'd just be like, thanks, not going to do the thing you want me to do. Sorry.
respond, and that's perfectly fine. I didn't expect him to. You know, I just wanted to get my feelings out. Although AB and I haven't talked in a long time, he's still somebody I care about. You know what I mean? He's like a cousin. You know, we have that bond. We're both from Dearborn. So it's like we're literally cousins. Not literally, but I don't know AB's motivations or what he feels because I'm on the outside at this point. So I am just giving my perspective from somebody on the outside. I will say the invalid points of criticism towards AB is trying to question him as an Arab, which is completely fucked up and wrong.
Apparently the button was pushed because AB had a medical emergency. I don't know about that, but okay. You say so. I'm sure. I mean, based on the conversation they were having, it doesn't look like the most fucking aggressive pushback anyway. Like, it's just...
Nobody should do that, you know? It is valid to criticize him for still working for Ethan and being silent for as long as he was. Those are valid points of criticism. But don't try to take away his Arabness because you don't agree with him.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Whenever AB started streaming on Twitch, I was the first person to raid him, and I even helped him whenever he asked me for advice on what to stream. AB has also helped me in many ways as well. Even a long time ago, AB included me in an H3 episode talking about why people should visit Dearborn. Here's a screenshot. It's from like 2023, I believe.
Oh.
He was also super, super supportive whenever I was nominated and won the Streamer Award.
Right. The award goes to... Chala, Chala.
No one can take Frogan's Arabness because it doesn't exist. God damn it. These local Puritans, eh?
Trojan. You did it! You did it, sister!
And to be quite honest, like watching
Rising
this
star.
clip back made me really, really sad because of basically the outcome of what this has become. You know what I mean? And I I have nothing but love for AB and Lena, and I wish them the best. And maybe in the future we can be friends again, to be honest.
Before she moved out here, I remember us talking, and she was nervous about it. And I said, at the end of the day, you'll have me and Lena, like, worst comes to worst. And then shit just hit the fucking fan.
Yeah.
Before.
And to those who are constantly defending me and having my back, I appreciate you and thank you so, so much. You know, during a time like this, it feels like the damage has been done physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. But, you know, after a year and a half of harassment, it feels very calming that people are actually finally on my side. It's been a nightmare for me. On a more positive note, here are some of my favorite pictures taken at the shoot of the content cop bit. Of course, I got to see Kaya. I love her to death. And here are a couple pictures. To Ethan, if you're watching this for some reason,
Oh, no.
my message to you is that, you know, you and I have different worldviews, and you and I have different ideas for what is the best way to help people. And, you know, while I appreciate the spirit of your advocacy, I think it's misguided.
True.
You know, after all of this,
What the fuck is a Druze? Go back to Brooklyn, North people from Israel. Stop trying to settle Lebanon. Also, Israeli Jews have no business making hummus because they're all white. What else? That's just all from like 2 minutes of clips. Also, if you make fun of a gay Hamas supporter and talk about ISIS, that's Islamophobic because Muslims equal ISIS and Hamas, apparently. Jesus Christ. What a fucking stupid person.
you've made my life hell. I will say that. You've made
That
my
was
life
the old
fucking hell.
Frogan. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I said at the end of the content cop still stands. I wish you the best.
She's on her compassion arc. Well, you know what? I am too. And honestly, that was like kind of stupid, but nothing really. I don't think Frogan's malicious. I think she is actually just like kind of dense. I think she genuinely just doesn't really know what the fuck's going on, other than that she feels like annoyed and hurt. So she doesn't. She just kind of like says words. Is what it is. But I don't think she's like on an interpersonal level. Like I don't know if she's bad. She is anti-Semitic. Like she's 100% anti-Semitic, but in a way that she's never going to realize that she is. But you know, just anti-Semitic in consequence, I suppose.